And we are live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Respect the Craft here. This is episode number 255. And I'm joined once again by the Capo himself. He is absolute Kris Kage. Good evening, sir. How's it going?
It's going, Ray. How you doing? Matter of fact, before I ask you how you're doing, I want to clear something up. With all due respect, if you may.
Of course, of
Uh,
course.
Lately, there's been a lot of references to my name and it being absolute Kris Kage. Let's make a correction. It's the absolute Kris Kage. So,
My apologies. My
a lot of
apologies
lot
again.
of graphic makers don't do their proper homework. Brother's been around for a little while. I'm not, some new little pony over here.
No, definitely
And
not.
people are
Definitely
gonna
not.
start getting it right.
It's all good. It's all good. Again, I don't want to add to what's currently going on. You look like you're unfortunately in a little bit of a somber mood right now. You're not
Well,
in the best of
it's it's
moods,
it's,
and
it's been it's been that kind of week, especially in the world, our beloved craft. You know what I'm saying? And the beloved world of professional wrestling. Been a little bit frustrating for me this week, if you don't mind me saying so.
I can definitely see that. And again, it doesn't look like, unfortunately, those at power at the project are looking to make that any easier for you right now. And yeah, there's a lot to break down here. But again, I hope other than that, I hope you're doing well. It's always a pleasure to have you here on the podcast and to have a chat with you. So, as far as that goes, it's always a pleasure here, brother. But before we get into that, because I know that's a very touchy subject right now, I do want to commend you on, again, the hefty reign that you had as NAW champion. I know you definitely are still, I guess, digesting that, what the reign meant and everything like that. But can you talk us through a little bit of just being, again, longest reigning champion in company history, what that meant to you?
It was a big thing. You know, as you know, I spent most of my time in the professional wrestling business as a tag team performer. Dedicated all my time to it, dedicated everything that I had, everything that I was, all my effort. And the New Age Wrestling Championship was the first championship that I have held since becoming, excuse me, the second, but the first heavyweight championship since becoming a singles wrestler. When you're trying to make a name for yourself and you're trying to, climb that ladder and get a little attention in a different way and get people to look at you in a way that they haven't seen you before, things like that definitely are very important. And the time that I spent with First Class, which started at the project, which you were witness to, played a very big part in that. And I gotta say that my time as the New Age Wrestling Champion was not only very meaningful, but I enjoyed it very much. We had a lot of fun reigning on top of New Age Wrestling. You know what I'm talking about?
No,
Sebastian
definitely can.
Cage, the lit superstar, El Hombre Johnny Santos, myself. Don't forget Tony Leenda, the big man. You know what I'm talking about?
Definitely
Shout out to
can.
Big
Definitely can.
Puzzo. And much love, of course, to Sosa. Free Sosa, hashtag.
Like, we
And
gotta get a hold of Sosa, man. We gotta get a hold of Sosa.
and so at the 16th anniversary of New Age Wrestling, when I went one on one for the first time with Mr. Jay Vera, I gotta say it like you said, I'm still digesting it, I guess is the
Yeah.
best way to say it when it comes to not having it anymore. They say you don't know what you got until it's gone. 490 days, let's say that for the record, the longest reigning champion in the 16-year history of New Age Wrestling. So Jay Vera choke on that. And yeah, not really something I actually wanted to think about tonight because, it has been a little bit of a rough week, but you always ask the best questions
I,
right there.
my apologies again. You know what? You know what it is again. You know how we are on this podcast. We're not sugarcoating things. We're cutting right to the point here, and it is a subject I had to discuss with you because I know again it was a very lengthy reign, an important reign, and it's one of those knowing you like I do. This won't be the last time we see you with some singles gold, and possibly not the last time we see you with that New Age Wrestling Heavyweight Championship, because I doubt not having it on you right now is not giving you just the outlook of I have to get it back.
Oh, I hope Jay Vara understands that I will be back to New Age Wrestling, no doubt. And when I am, there's only one goal in mind, and that's to regain what is rightfully mine. You understand? That's happening.
Understood.
He needs
Yes.
to just he needs to accept it. There's just no way around it. And he's got a big title defense coming up. You know, I always got my eye on everything. And let's see, he may not even make it out of his first title defense. He's going up against the big Hamlet Hertzu, big man, big heavy pound. You know about Hamlet.
Yeah. It's one strange individual there, but definitely great competitor in that square circle.
He's definitely a weird person, but in that ring, he talks to skulls. He does all kind of thing. Lately, he's been, he's got a whole other situation going on. But
Yeah,
when he gets in that ring, you know what he's all about.
definitely.
Heavy
Definitely so.
hitter, technical prowess. He's got speed. He's fast. And Jay Vara, and I know for a fact that he's been hungry for that New Age Wrestling Heavyweight Championship for quite some time. So Jay Vara, he better bring his A game. He better bring like he brought it to me that night at the 16th anniversary, because if he doesn't, we might be seeing a new NAW Heavyweight Champion off the jump.
There you go. And look at that already in the chat here. We got the beast himself, Benny Candela, saying, "Hey, what it do, Cage?" Shout
What
out
up,
to Benny
Benny? How
there.
you doing?
Look at that, throwing some history here about New Age. Sam Shields couldn't dethrone me at New Age. There you go. There you go. That history there when it comes to New Age wrestling.
There you go.
But again, we talk about that. We get that out of the way now. Let's get to it. The meat and potatoes of this conversation. The main reason we are here, because we are less than, again, it's 7 days away. Project Codename Wrestling returns with Project Codename Sinatra. But before we get to that night, and again, Cage, my apologies, I have to bring it up. This all begins, the main reason we are here, with the previous event, Project Codename Assemble, and this match right here, that it seemed was just going to be a little bit of I guess, a friendly battle, if you will, due to the Don himself, public enemy number one, TJ Marconi, of having two of his closest confidants go at it here in Walter Diaz and Kris Kage. And we see the battle. It starts like it's going to be a friendly affair, and then everyone has seen it. Hopefully, the tape. Walter Diaz basically disregards the gentleman's agreement and decides to hit you in the family jewels and sneak his way into a victory. So, with that being said, it's one of those where I like to be unbiased on here. I try to keep myself neutral, but it's hard to not agree with your sentiment of wanting a rightful rematch, especially after, again, you've known to do whatever it takes to get a victory, but you played it fair. You were clean in that last bout, and to see this, it's a little surprising from Icebox to see him do something like that. Such a dirty tactic at Project Codename Assemble.
It surprises you because
Just
it don't surprise me. I know Walter Diaz for a very long time. I know Walter Diaz going all the way back to the old neighborhood. I know what Walter Diaz is all about. You like to say that he and I are TJ Marconi's closest confidants, and sometimes I question the big man's judgment, because if he knew Walter Diaz like I know Walter Diaz, I don't think confidant is the word that we would be using to describe Walter Diaz in relation to public enemy number one, TJ Marconi. That's first of all. Second of all, let's Ray, it's respect the craft, right? So let's talk some pro wrestling real quick.
got you.
You brought up Project Codename Assemble. You
Yes, I
brought
did.
up what happened between me and Walter Diaz and how he decided to secure the victory. Now, I was going in there with the gentleman's agreement, as per respect to the big man, right? His request. He didn't want nothing going down in any disrespectful fashions between me and Walter Diaz. And I understand that. So I did what I always do. I gave the big man my word and I followed through with my word. Now, Walter Diaz decided to show his true colors because he's already planting seeds, if anybody's actually paying attention. But Walter Diaz does what he does. And this is pro wrestling. You're a fan just like I am. You love this just like I am. And you said it a little earlier. Rightful rematch. Do I not? Is it not within my right to request some redemption? To request some semblance of payback? I mean, this is the pro wrestling game. You know what I'm talking about? We are trying to climb the ladder to be the number one, right? In this case, it's at Project Codename Wrestling. I'm letting you know right now, there's a whole lot of hot new cats coming into the project next week in 7 days, May 17th, Hoboken, New Jersey. But it really don't matter because May 17th is going to be the beginning of a new era, the beginning of the age of Cage, if you will, the beginning of me showing everybody at the project that things are going to start going a certain way at Project Codename Wrestling. And I'm not asking permission no more. It's happening whether anybody likes it or not. And we're gonna do now, maybe apologize later. We're not gonna be worrying about consequences. The first one on the list, as we've been talking about, the man in question, Walter Diaz. Walter, I already told you. You saw I told you on social media. You saw I called you out. Now you got management trying to pamper you, trying to powder you, trying to look out for you, and giving you another chance to run away from me. But it doesn't matter. I don't know how many times I gotta say it. I can say it here on Respect the Craft. I can say it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Don't matter. Hoboken, New Jersey, the Elk/70, it's not safe for you. You show up there, you decide to show up, whether you decide to face me, whether you decide to be in the scramble match, you're gonna have to see me because I'm gonna be looking for you. Whether I'm backstage, whether I'm in the ring, whether I'm at the desk, I'm coming for you no matter what. Walter, you're not ducking me. You're not gonna be able to run from me. You could try, but we're gonna see how well that goes for you.
And again, it boggles my mind here that after the response, after again the message from management, Cheyenne Ortiz giving us a little bit of an update on the situation, and again, like you said, almost giving Walter Diaz a get out of jail free card here because Walter either decides to face you, decides to officially enter the scramble match, or he will take suspension. And it's a situation of Walter Diaz has responded saying he doesn't care about a suspension. So again, adding to the scenario of again ducking you here, Cage. And again, it surprises me because I thought as much as Diaz loves to talk about being the king of the scramble and being this great competitor, why duck a match if he feels he got a rightful win? Why not do it once again? If he feels like he can beat you in that squared circle, why not give you one more chance in that squared circle? I don't get it here.
That's exactly who he is. Going back to what I said earlier, none of this surprises me. That the offer of that suspension by Mr. Cheyenne Ortiz, that was a gift. Walter Diaz was praying on that. He was waiting for that. So, since we're on the topic, let me address that. Let me address Cheyenne Ortiz, the person in charge. What is it? The one per what the fuck are they calling it?
I
I
I guess he's I
you
guess
don't
he's in
know.
charge
You
now.
don't know. You
Unfortunately,
don't know. You don't want to know. Okay? Because who the hell cares? The fact is that Cheyenne Ortiz, he got a little bit of power here in the project, and it's all good. He wants to give Walter Diaz a free pass. It's all good. But Cheyenne Ortiz, you also know me for a long time. So let's be serious for a second. You're not stopping me from doing what I say I'm gonna do. Okay? You could threaten whatever you want, but in fact, the reason I'm disappointed is because I don't want Walter Diaz to be suspended. With all due respect, you want to punish Walter Diaz. There's one way we could do that. There's one way. I've been trying to do that, but I don't know. It's like I'm like, you know, everybody got me on the pay no mind list, and it's starting to get real annoying. But that's gonna change on May 17th. That's gonna change when we go to Hoboken. Because if you notice, Ray, you look up and down all the promotional material. Look at all the graphics. Look at all the flyers. You don't see the absolute Kris Kage in action. Beautiful flyer. Kudos to the man who made it. But you don't see no match graphics featuring the Absol on there, do you?
I have not. I have
Do you
not.
know any information that I don't know, Ray?
Unfortunately, this time I do not, Cage. I know as much as you right now. I know as much as you. And again, it surprises me because I was expecting, especially once I saw the graphic of, oh, Walter Diaz is in a scramble. Okay, so what happens now to the Capo here? And again, we are 7 days away.
This guy, they want to throw this guy nothing. This guy over here is getting the option. He could get the option of whatever match he got. He got a, you know what I'm talking about? But I got to scratch and claw. You want me to scratch and claw? We're gonna see what happens when I scratch and claw.
And
Because
again, I don't know if that's a good scenario here, especially again,
I'm not
the
looking
Don
for good
himself.
scenarios no more. I try to do good scenarios. You know, Ray, you see, I try to conform. I try to be a man of the system. I try to be a man that works with the company. You see, I wear multiple hats, multi-talented. Put me in any position on the show. You got something. You got gold. You got magic. No doubt. We already know this. It's old news.
Yep.
But the fact is that I asked for one thing. One thing. And it upsets me because I never asked for nothing. So when I asked for this one thing, I expected to be obliged. I expected the respect of being the chance to redeem my name, Cheyenne Ortiz. But I was denied that. I was denied that the moment they decided that they were going to give Walter Diaz the chance to choose how it was going to play out. So we're going to change that because I'm about to rewrite the story and I'm going to decide how this plays out.
And again, it surprises me knowing again, it has been no stranger to anyone that knows the history of the project. You have again been a part of one of the most dominant factions. First Class took over basically the first year of the project. We talk about Escape from New York, the winning team that you were a part of with the big man himself. I would expect again even just a little decency of that respect here. Of hey, it's no secret that Don has a little bit of pull when it comes to the project, even with the new management. I guess with Cheyenne Ortiz. It's been a minute that I've been at the project, so I don't know what's happening now in the back. I'm still wondering what the hell happened to Sosa. But um, it's it's frustrating to see. Again, like I said, I try to be unbiased here, but it's frustrating to see that usually the project was about that competition. We've seen the rankings. We see how much wins and losses matter here. And for a rightful, again, just a fight, you're not asking for a championship opportunity. You're not asking to be given the night off. You want to fight. And to see that be disregarded or basically just pushed to the side, it's it's very surprising here. Again, like you said, no graphic at all. You're just you're on the flyer at least. At least people know you will be at
Oh,
Sinatra.
oh, thank you.
But
Why?
it, it it's insane to see. Again, every other person on this graphic has a match. Well, at least not Shane Fair. The lovely Shane Fair will be ring announcing on that night. But it's like everyone else that's involved in here, there's an announcement going. Like it's mind boggling here, Cage.
I mean, what can you do? At this point, we're walking into May 17th, and you're gonna see me out there. You're gonna see me, and you're gonna see me confront Walter Diaz.
Okay.
And and you know, me being at the booth may not be a safe position. You want to talk about being biased? You want to talk about being unbiased? You try to be unbiased? Yes, everyone knows that I'm usually at the desk with my main man, Sir Al, my man Alphonse Stevens. But I I'm having trouble coming to terms with having to sit and watch Walter Diaz compete for the king of the scramble, whatever the fuck that means. And I gotta watch him and do nothing? Ray, do you expect me to sit there and do nothing?
I have a problem believing that that's all you would want to do that night. And that was going to be my next question because let's say, again, Walter Diaz might choose that option, or he said it on social media. He said he didn't care about a suspension. So let's say he decides to take option C and decides to, unfortunately, decide to take the night off and I guess take another flight as he said on social media. What then, Cage? What then? Because that unfortunately, realistically, could be an option in 7 days. We could see Walter Diaz decide not to even show up, even disregard being announced for a match. How unprofessional of him, but it could be an option. What happens then?
What happens then is that if Walter Diaz decides he's going to take the night off, he decides he wants to take that suspension. He decides he wants to jump on a plane and fly to London or fly to Tokyo or fly to Thailand or fly to Hawaii or wherever he likes to go. My advice to him would be to stay wherever he lands because he's he's cut off. And I'm saying he's cut off. And if he shows his face back from wherever he decides to run to, we're taking it out of the ring, Ray. We're talking, you know, I told you earlier that I know Walter Diaz from back in the old neighborhood, and we're gonna take it back to the old neighborhood. It's gonna have to go there. It's gonna have to get like that. It's gonna have to no wrestling boots, no laces, no singlets, no fur coats. I'm giving Walter the option to do this the way we should do this. The way I think people would want to see us do this. But this is starting to become a little bit more than just about a wrestling match to me. And if I have to take it beyond the wrestling match to get Walter Diaz's attention, then I am going to get Walter Diaz's attention. And I don't think Walter Diaz wants to test what I'm willing to do to make that happen.
Again, I hope Walter Diaz is watching. I hope he decides to reconsider because again, like I said, he's been doing some things that I didn't expect him to do. Again, I thought a little better of Walter Diaz, but I guess he's disproving my point here.
Oh
But
my God, Walter Diaz is a bitch. We already know this.
again, I want to be.
That's
I'm
just
trying to
that's
be as cordial as possible. You know how I am. I try to remain as professional as possible when it comes to this and our craft here. But now I think I know where this is going to go, but I have to ask it anyway. I want to be a very again proper journalist when it comes to this. I have to ask, how's the relationship though now with the Don himself? How are things between you and TJ Marconi? Because I know he's not the happiest. When like I said earlier, both of you have been very close to him in separate circles, in separate scenarios. So I know him seeing you two have this dispute here. I know he's not the happiest at this point. So how has that been between you and TJ Marconi? If you can disclose that information.
things are fine between me and TJ. Okay, now there may be things that he and I disagree with, Walter Diaz being the main one. And I try my very best to be a professional. And I try to be a proper business partner when it comes to those situations. Me and TJ, we don't necessarily get involved in each other's business on each side of the fence. I understand he has his dealings with Walter Diaz, with Cheyenne Ortiz, with Astro Morales, and that's just fine. I don't get involved. I don't stick my beak in. just like he doesn't stick his beak in to what I got going on at New Age Wrestling and beyond with First Class. But he knows that at the drop of a hat, when he makes the call and he needs a problem solved, he needs somebody to back him up who that he does not have to question their trust. He knows who to call. And as you've seen, because it's been a few years now, as you've seen that anytime the big man calls and anytime he needs me, I'm right there. You see Walter Diaz, he's all over social media. He openly disrespects, he
Which
openly disobeys. And just like you, I'm a little confused at some of the leeway, some of the benefit of the doubt that Mr. Diaz has shown by, you know,
and again, that begs me the question here that it's interesting because again, like I said, I've known you both. I've seen the relationships you both have had with TJ, and it's surprising to see how Diaz has basically thrown that to the side, even though currently they're holding some gold. They are part of another faction, as you are and TJ part of again the grand part of La Camorra and First Class, that great institution. Diaz and TJ had their own thing going, and it seems Diaz just threw that to the curb over victory, over his own pride of a win. And it's again surprising to see. But now, again, I know you said you and TJ are fine. You said a statement there. You said how quick you would be there for the big man with recent situations and with TJ almost again giving a little bit of a blind eye to Diaz. Will that still be the case if TJ Marconi is to call you right now? Let's say.
I think I think me and TJ still, our respect for each other is still strong enough that he knows that that's still how it will play out.
Okay. Again, I have to ask these
One
questions
thing,
because
one thing I do got to give the big man credit for is that he has told me personally that in this situation, he is not getting involved. He is not sticking his nose in anymore because he did give Walter Diaz that warning. Not once, not twice, but three times. The times have been countless in private, in public.
yep,
And
we
yet,
saw the
Walter
video. We've
Diaz
seen
doesn't
it.
want to listen. I mean, I respect TJ for stepping aside. And this is why I'm saying, and this is why I'm trying to warn both Walter Diaz and Cheyenne Ortiz that this is going to happen whether we do it the official way or not.
Again, I'm really hoping for the sake of everything this does end up happening in the squared circle just because I know everyone of the project faithful would love to see it go down in that ring. Hopefully again we are seeing that happen in 7 days.
Well, you know
Cuz
what?
again,
You know
it
what?
is Sinatra.
It is Sinatra. I'm glad you said that because I'm going to save my frustration for that. You know, I already got a little riled up. I'm trying to keep it cool. I
Of
told you right
course.
before we went on the air that I was going to try to stay calm. You know, I'm a little frustrated. I'm a little upset, but I'm going to try to stay as calm as I can. So let's talk wrestling. Let's respect the craft a little bit. Let's talk about Sinatra because again, I'm a broadcast journalist just like you. I'm going to be at the desk for a lot of the night. I plan to be at the desk. You're going to see me all over Sinatra. You know what I'm talking about? And we got a lot of big things coming. We got a lot of big matches coming. We got live music. We got live performances. We're gonna have drinks. You got the happy hour special. You know I'm gonna enjoy that. Uh, and I think that it is going to be an event that a lot of people are going to regret if they do not show up, if they are not there live, if they do not pack the whole Boken Elks Lodge. You know what I'm talking about? We got
Uh,
debuts coming up that I'm very excited for. We got. I'm not really excited for the scramble match. I was gonna try to, give it a
well,
little.
maybe you're excited for the other competitors in it because it is a great looking scramble because you have the veteran himself, you got the technical extraterrestrial himself, Ghost Shadow in there. We got the project debut of the Brooklyn Outlaw Donovan. You have Alejandro Espinal. You have Mantis. You have Hemi Hendrix. Then you possibly have another guy in there. I'm not going to say his name just because of I don't want to anger you even more here. But that is a good looking scramble. And with the name for the king of the scramble position there, it is looking to be an interesting contest when it
Well,
comes to next Friday.
we don't we try to be unbiased here. We try not to pick favorites,
Of course. Of
but
course.
in that situation, I just may, and it's not really even much of a. It's not even a doubt. It doesn't even really. There's not even really a second thought here. I'm gonna have to go with the Ghost Shadow. You understand what I'm talking about? The big
I,
bro. I mean, all those six guys, credit to all of them, some great athletes, except for shitbox Walter Diaz. But I think out of everyone, no matter how talented they are, nobody really is on the level of Ghost Shadow, and I think he's gonna prove it on May 17th.
No, you know what? Again, I usually like to remain unbiased as well. I try to stay neutral, especially from the broadcast position. However, I have to agree with you there. Again, there's a reason Ghost Shadow is the veteran in this. He has that time, he has that tenure, and he's familiar with every single person in that matchup there, especially Himi Hendrix, especially Mantis. He took them in the last recent year. He had them under his wing. He was watching them a part of that Vulture squad, a part of that new just variation of it there, and
That's right.
seeing how much again they grew, but he didn't teach them everything. There's still some tricks, and again, some things that Ghost Shadow I think has still not even shown the world yet.
The sensei
So
never teaches all of his tricks to the student. You know what I'm talking about? And I'll tell you from personal experience that Ghost Shadow still got so many tricks up his sleeve that nobody is ready for. And I think they're gonna see that next week. I think they're gonna see that in the scramble. He's been holding it down with the Super Independent Championship. He's really on a streak and a little bit of momentum right now that I really don't see how anybody's going to be able to match up with him. Scramble one on one, no matter the situation. And I'm really looking forward to that one. Especially if one person would be subtracted or wouldn't be added. We make it a nice 5-man. That
that's
sounds
a good number for a scramble. Yeah,
I,
that works.
that sounds nice to me, right?
That to me it looks better. It sounds a little better. Sounds a little
It
better.
sounds a
Again,
little better. I think it
yeah,
sounds better. It rolls off the tongue of 5-man scramble. You know what I mean? 5-star challenge. You know what I'm saying? Whatever
there
you
you go.
wanna call it. But yeah, I think that's gonna be a good one. We got the debut of if I may say so myself, we got the debut of Live Danger. Saw a little bit of what's going on social media, seeing the excitement, and I gotta say that these cats right here got an energy that I am really digging. It takes me a little bit back, takes me a little bit to those old school pro wrestling days. You know what I'm talking about? And I am feeling that right there. I can't wait to see what they're all about. I'm looking forward to that one. Looking forward to tag team. The shot callers are going to be in tag team action. I already called action with them before. I know what they're all about. They always bring the excitement. They always bring the crowd up to their feet and up to the peak of excitement. They got everybody partying, the music. Listen, man.
I'm definitely
I'm
looking
going.
forward to that because again, that tag team wrestling is again living again in the project, and I know you're very fond of tag team wrestling. Again,
I'm
tag
very
team
fond of
veteran
tag
as you
team
are.
wrestling. I always got a special place in my heart for tag team wrestling. I think that the project is building a very impressive tag team division. I think at every project show you're gonna see some amazing tag team wrestling. With the established tag teams, with the new tag teams coming in, on top of everything, we can't count out the number one tag team in all of Project Codename Wrestling. Of course, I'm talking about Primera Clase, and that is my boy Sebastian Cage, the cousin, the lit superstar, and Johnny Santos, El Hombre. Uh, and when they return to the project, it's really gonna be on and popping. You know what I'm talking about? And I can't wait for that. But tag team division on fire. I'm loving it. Can't wait to see how it goes down next week. There are some things still that got me pumped, Ray. There are some things that still got me excited for next week. I'm excited for a whole lot of things. If it wasn't for this situation I got going on the side, this thing throwing a wrench in my whole operation that I got going on, then we might be just partying. We might be having a good night, all of us, you
As it
included.
should be,
But
as it should
as
be,
it
because
should be,
again,
as it was the
it's
last time. But uh,
it's
again,
a tough
again,
situation here because Sinatra, to remind everyone that is still possibly on the fence, this isn't just your normal wrestling event. Because
not
as we're
just
going to show in a little bit, this is a lot to handle here because it's not just wrestling on that night. You're going to see
absolutely not.
wrestling, you're going to see live performances DJs, again, that bar in the building with some great, again, it's gonna be, you're gonna see some wrestling themed drinks. How are you not gonna have a good time like that? Gonna have some drinks, gonna have some wrestling, gonna have a good time. And again, it all goes down in Hoboken. No excuse not to be there, especially if you're in the NYC area. It is the easiest commute to get to that venue next Friday. And again, how can you beat that? Start off your weekend with some great wrestling, with some great music, some great times. And again, you'll see the Capo there. How can you not want that?
It's
Go have a good
definitely
time.
it's gonna be the party that kicks off the summer for sure.
There you go. And
It's
that's what you
definitely
want to be a part of. You want to enjoy that. You want to be in the building. You want to start that off well. And you know, with the project, it's always just the beginning because stuff like this, we saw it assemble. You mentioned Primera Clase, you mentioned Sebastian and Johnny Santos. They made their presence known. They weren't even promoted for Assemble. And they made sure to make their presence known. So you never know what could happen
we
at
always got to
Sinatra.
remind everybody who runs the project at the end of the day.
As you should. But I do want to bring up this match, and I want to get your thoughts on this one, Cage, because I got to speak to one half of this match this past week, and that was Sammy Chaos and Gino Gods as they're getting ready for Sammy's singles match with one Nikki Duke here. So your thoughts on some ladies action happening at the project?
You know, I'm always excited to see the ladies and the women's division come back to the project. And I'm very hyped for this one right here. Nikki Duke is coming in, making her debut. Miss Chaos is doing the same thing. I don't really know. It's a little bit of a toss up for me right now. I've been trying to analyze the data. I've been watching some footage. I'm trying to take my notes and get ready to call this action right here. I don't want to remember. We talking unbiased here. We're just talking. We're just shooting the cuff here. just just from what I've been watching lately and the dominance, the sheer dominance that we've been seeing, I think the momentum may be on the side of Sammy Chaos. As I'm just gonna throw it out there. I don't know how you
I
feel about that. I
no, I
know, I
have
know
to
she just
agree.
I know
I
she
have to.
just she just attained the Fallout Championship. You know what I'm saying? She's doing it big right now. I think the momentum might be on her side. I'm not trying to throw any shot. No disrespect to Nikki Duke. None at all. But
I,
I'm just saying, Sammy Chaos is on a tear right now. She is more dominant right now than she has ever been. And I'm telling you right now, everybody that stands in her way better watch out. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree. Again, I'm going to stand with you on that one, especially because I have to see Sammy Chaos very soon. And I do not want to be on her bad side because I've seen what happens when someone is on our bad side, male or female. So, yeah,
Good.
my,
So
my
that means,
money, my
so you
money's on
tell
Sammy
Sammy
Chaos today.
Chaos, you tell Sammy Chaos I said hello, and you tell Sammy Chaos everything I just said. You know what I'm talking about?
I will pass on the message for the capo. Don't worry. Don't you worry. But from that, I do want to talk about a little bit of the other side of the event. Again, it will be live performances. We talked about it. Hemi Hendrix will be a part of the scramble,
My boy.
but he also will be giving us a little bit of a live performance, that live musical performance by Hemi Hendrix. Again, he is a multifaceted, multi-talented competitor in there. So get ready to hear Hemi Hendrix dropping some beats and some music, but also the main man himself, DJ Alvin Alvarez, will be in the building. He's going to be dropping those ones and twos, as well as, man, we just had on the podcast last week, as is my boy Zachary Snow performing there with Cloudwalker. So definitely stay tuned. Some amazing musical performances coming to Sinatra. But from the music side, we go back to the wrestling because Cage, I want to hear your thoughts on this one because this might take down the Elks Lodge next Friday, as it's going to be a huge hoss fight here between Everest and Kerr.
Listen, you know me, and you know that I'm a fan of some good old fashioned pro wrestling. And you hit it right on the head when you said that this match might tear down the Hoboken Elks Lodge because these are two super heavyweights right here, two big boys. They ain't calling it a horse fight for no reason. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know. Now, this one right here, this one, you want to talk about toss up in the last match. This is a real toss up right here. Kerr and Everest. I don't know exactly what's going to happen between them two. I'm a little hesitant to pick a winner right here. I don't know. And you know what? I may just leave this one. I may just leave this one alone right here. I will say though that I'm a big fan of some nice, good old fashioned, hard hitting pro wrestling. It's real nice to watch the boys spring around and fly around and dance around and twirl around on their tippy toes. But I like to see two big guys get in there and hurt each other. And that's exactly what we're going to see with Curran Everest. You know what I'm talking about? And I am going to be very happy sitting ringside calling the action with Alphonse Stevens.
I cannot agree with you more, and this is going to be one where I'm glad this isn't a prediction show. We're just letting you guys know what's going to happen because
Hey, we
I,
just throwing the lineup up. We just going giving it
that's
the
it.
rundown.
That's all we're doing here because I definitely am gonna not want to get on the bad side of either competitor there, and I'm glad I'm not the official in this one. And you know what? For one night, I'm glad I'm not the broadcaster because I do not want to say anything that might piss one of these two men off after the fact as well.
Hey, listen. I just call it like I see it. You know that. I always give you the honest take. And if I say something that anybody likes, at the end of the day, I'm still me and they can step up to the desk if they got something to say and they want to handle it in any type of way. I am looking for Walter Diaz, but anybody could get it at any time. So,
There you go. Words from the Capo. But I know again you have your own frustrations, Capo, but I have to ask you your thoughts on this because there is someone who almost feels again very like you, very disrespected from management here. And that is one veteran himself as well, Eric Corvus, when it comes to this match here with Matt Vertigo. He feels like, even though, again, the match has been announced, there is a match graphic, he feels almost as if the project has slighted that Eric Corvus will even be there in the promotional materials, in the posters, and all this. I want to get your take on, again, the comments made by Eric Corvus. And if you can just maybe give him a few kind words, because you've unfortunately have felt, unfortunately, due to certain comments, sometimes management isn't too much on your side, Capo. So any thoughts here for Eric Corvus?
yeah, you know what? I do got thoughts for Eric Corvus because I have seen the frustration playing out. I have seen the comments that Corvus made on X all over social media, feeling that he's been overlooked, if you will, by the project, given his experience, given all the things he's done in pro wrestling. And hey, I understand, baby. But here's the thing. Ray mentioned it earlier. At the project, they got a serious ranking system. I know for a fact that the clowns up there really like to take it seriously, and that's cool. Okay, Corvus, you want them to pay attention, you got to make them pay attention. You know what I'm talking about? No disrespect to Mr. Matt Vertigo, but Mr. Corvus, if you want them to stop overlooking you, you got to give them a reason to stop overlooking you. And I've been at the project since day one. Ray, you have too. Mr. Corvus is a little bit of a fairly newcomer to Project Codename Wrestling. And that does play a factor. At the end of the day, you may have done a lot in the world of professional wrestling, but they're going to be asking you, what have you done for us at the project?
Yep. And
And
we've
the
seen it
answer,
before. We've seen it
and
before. Even yourself, again, being
you
some.
see it, even myself, the management, baby. I'm letting you know right now. I'm trying to help you out. Management is real screwy. You know what I'm saying? They got their own ideas, and their ideas are all over the goddamn place. And I'm telling you right now, you want attention, you're gonna follow. Don't worry. And the captain's gonna lead you coming up this weekend and show you exactly how it's done. But my man Eric Corvus, make an example of Matt Vertigo. That's all I got to say about that. And
There you go.
that's not a prediction. I'm not even making a pick right now. Again, no disrespect to Matt Vertigo because I've known Matt Vertigo for over 15 years, and I'm telling you right now, a serious brother too, a serious person to take notice of in the ring. And I know for a fact that Matt Vertigo is on. He's got a mindset right now that he's looking to get people to pay attention to him too. He's looking to gain that momentum, especially at Project Codename Wrestling. His introduction to the project didn't exactly go the way he wanted, and he wants a little bit of a redo at that introduction. And I think Eric Corvus needs to watch out too. Don't underestimate the man. Just because you got a gripe, just because you got a chip on your shoulder, don't think that Matt Vertigo ain't coming out with that same chip on his shoulder, because I know the man, and the man has one, no doubt.
I have to agree with you there because, again, if you're not paying attention to your opponent in that squared circle, you might already be losing just in that mental game. And again,
Listen,
like you mentioned, Matt
they
also
call
Matt,
they
Matt
call Vertigo New York Drip for a reason. He's got that New York attitude. He's got that New York style, just like I do. And Eric Corvus, he needs to watch out. He needs to watch because I know Matt Vertigo's serious, and I
no,
hope that Eric Corvus doesn't let his emotion get in the way of doing what he got to do when the bell rings.
no, I have to agree with you there. And again, Matt Vertigo, like you said, looking to make that almost make a clean slate here. With Eric Corvus is that introduction for Vertigo here. This is that clean slate of coming in, looking to reintroduce himself to the Project Faithful and prove that that first time was just a little bit of a hey, that's nothing to worry about. This is now the real New York drip here. And again, that size advantage is going to come to play. That size advantage. Matt Vertigo is no small competitor. So we're going to see what happens next Friday. But from there, you mentioned them earlier. You mentioned the shot callers, but we're going to show their actual competition here as it will be tag team action as the shot callers go head to head with Los Vigilantes here. And we saw the comments made by the shot callers. We saw their promo, or I guess their after effects of a little bit of too much partying from the shot callers. And again, both great competitors. They're very hungry, very talented. I've gotten to speak to both of them in the past, but I get their deal. I get wanting to party, make sure they do it. We're no strangers to that either. Again, that first class lifestyle, esa
That's
primera
right.
clase.
That's
But I don't know, is that the best thing to do before matches? With primera clase, we always saw it after. It's the party after the fact. With them, could this be a mistake? Partying a little too hard before the real business comes into play here.
now, if it came to primera clase, I mean, it would definitely be a bad decision to go that route before you step into the ring. Now, you know, at Sinatra, they're gonna be stepping into the ring with Los Vigilante, and let me tell you, both very impressive. I think the shot callers better come very seriously because, as we mentioned before, they like to bring the good time. They like to have the crowd hopping and rolling and rocking, and they want them to go home happy. They want them to feel like they got this money worth, and I understand that. I very much do. However, these guys that are coming in right now, I don't. I really don't think they're coming to party. They're coming to make their debut, and I think they want to come back to the project. I think they want to have people notice. This is one of the things that got me excited about this show. We mentioned Matt Vertigo earlier. We mentioned Corvus earlier. You got Chaos. You got Duke. You got a lot of people that are showing up at the project for the first time. A lot of people that are making their debuts. A lot of people that are trying to impress. A lot of people that are trying to exactly climb that ladder.
Yep.
And I don't know. To answer your question, the shot callers, they may want to think about their pre-match rituals. I saw
Yeah.
the same thing you saw. I saw the way. Hey, I'm not hating, baby. I'm just saying.
No,
Enjoy.
again, I'm just stating
Enjoy.
again,
In
you
fact,
know how I am.
in fact, you know what, guys? Maybe at Sinatra we exchange numbers because one of those times the Capo might want to join you, especially after I whip Walter Diaz's ass. I would definitely like to celebrate. You know what I'm talking about? But when it comes to stepping into the ring on May 17th, I just think you better come ready. Maybe one less the night before.
There you go. And no, and that's exactly what I'm trying to bring up. Again, not trying to disregard what they can do in that squared circle. It's more of just again being analytical with this. We know again how much it is to step into that squared circle, being a part of that craft. And again, the partying, I get it. It's a fun lifestyle, but make sure that that in ring isn't being affected by it because one false step and there you go. So
Absolutely.
we shall see what happens with that. But I want to also show the graphic because unfortunately earlier we did not show it. Again, just disregard one competitor in the match. But again, it's still a great looking graphic right there. Again, great
I really
five
like this.
competitors that could be a part of that King of the Scramble match.
I really like this.
And yeah, the other person that is
Mhm.
announced, but again, we don't know. We don't know what will happen. Like we said, he could possibly take option C. That shouldn't be an option. I don't understand how management is giving him a leeway of being able to get out of even competing that night. Like I get the idea of cards subject to change, but it's like
because they want to play this game like they're, that we're all, Mr. Ortiz is over there sitting behind the desk in the office pushing pencils, and he's trying to act like he's doing everything down the middle. But the fact of the matter is that, they're buddies. They got, what creative control. Yeah, we're going to break that down real quick. Okay? Because that ain't rocking here with the project. All right, and Mr. Cheyenne Ortiz, he can play innocent all he wants, but Cheyenne Ortiz is gonna have to talk to me face to face eventually too. Okay, so there shouldn't be no option C. There shouldn't be no option B, A1, none of that. Okay, it should be one thing, and we're gonna get to that one thing because again, I'm not asking permission no more. Walter Diaz, you're gonna see my face everywhere you go, especially at Project Codename Wrestling, until you accept my challenge, and that's what's going down. That's the reality that you're gonna have to accept.
there you go. And those are your words from the Capo. But again, to everyone watching, don't forget you have 7 days. Make sure you get those tickets. Be a part of a huge way to kick off the summer there. Project Codename Wrestling presents Sinatra. Again, stacked lineup, musical performances. The ECW legend himself, the Sandman, will be in the building. Capo, maybe ask him to lend him that kendo stick just
Oh,
to
I just
introduce to
might.
Walter Diaz just a few times.
I just might,
'Cause
but the problem is, he may not get it back because I'm gonna shove it up Walter's ass. You know what I'm talking about?
that
So I'm sorry. I don't mean to threaten violent crimes here. I don't.
it's all good. It's all good. We're gonna clarify it for legality here, allegedly. But but
It's a
bef-
figure of speech, ladies and
there,
gentlemen,
there you go.
and
Just
uh,
uh,
I'm
but yeah,
sorry. I'm a journalist. I'm a journalist. We're being journalists here. That's all we're doing. I'm
that's all
sorry.
we're doing. That is all we're doing here. But before I let the capo go, I want to remind everyone to please don't forget to follow him as well on his social media right there. Follow Kris Kage on Instagram, Absolute Cage. Follow him on X at Absolute Cage right there. All those will be in the links down below in the description. Make sure you're following the man and be there next Friday to you definitely will see him in the building. Will it be hopefully in a more cordial sense? Is going to have to be, I guess, wait and see because you don't know what's going to happen. For Walter Diaz's sake, I hope he's taking that flight because, yeah, it's not going to be a happy Kris Kage next Friday once he sees Walter Diaz. So, Diaz, I hope you're watching. Make the right choice. Pick that one-on-one because it's been nice knowing you, Diaz. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. But Capo, thank you again so much for joining me here. Always a pleasure, brother. And again, I can't wait to see you soon. Any final comments here for the lovely people watching at home? We're gonna give you the
Well,
big screen here, Capo.
everybody watching, I would hope that you would make your way down to Hoboken, New Jersey on May 17th. Info's gonna be in all the descriptions for Project Codename Sinatra. Notwithstanding the fact that I am going to find Walter Diaz, and I really think you're gonna want to see what I do to him. There's gonna be a night of so much entertainment, so much great pro wrestling that you are gonna have a great time. You are not gonna regret coming down if you show up. Ray Sanchez, I thank you for having me on the show. I look forward to seeing you. I look forward to be back on the show very soon so we can talk about Loud East Wrestling coming up in June because that's a whole entire another topic that I want to get into because we're going to be making impact and we're going to be making a whole lot of loud noise on June 8th in Ridgefield, New Jersey at the Mecca as well. But that's a story for another time. As far as next week, get your ass down to Hoboken, New Jersey, May 17th. It's a Friday night. You're going to want to see Project Codename Wrestling live. And if you don't, you just may not want to see me face to face. Ray.
There you go. I know, definitely. We definitely will be talking a lot sooner about that Loud East show because yeah, it's gonna be a Wild East at the Mecca on June 8th. So we'll
Absolutely.
definitely be doing that. But to everyone watching, again, don't forget to always be wise, be genuine, be real, be better people, respect the craft, and we'll see you guys on the next one, which happens to be in less than an hour. Tune in as I'll be talking to the independent wrestling legend himself, Arcadia. So tune into that. But to the next one, peace, everybody.